Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of A Gardener's Journey Homestead. Y'all, it is so beautiful today. It is, the temperature, the weather is perfect. It's like 70, 2 degrees, somewhere along in there. Gentle breeze. It just makes you want to be outside. So I'm first grateful for the weather. It is absolutely amazing. Y'all, this is fall and I love it. I am here for it. It's a brand new month. It's October and I told myself, you got to say goodbye to the summer garden. You have got to say goodbye to the summer garden. So today I'm still doing more of the things, getting rid of summer, transitioning to fall. I'm not quite sure what all we're going to get done today. I'm going to take you along with me kind of as the day progresses. One of the first things we're going to do is I'm almost finished in the back of the house. So everything out there is planted except for 2 beds. And I'll show you that. And then we're going to go down to the greenhouse and we're going to try something new today. I'm going to do some experiments and I'm going to take you along with me. And then hopefully we'll be able to clear out the summer garden outside. It depends on when hubby can come and help me. He's working on a project in the garage. So not sure what all we're going to get done today on this particular video, but I'm going to take you along with me for the ride. So let's get to it. Let me first show you how everything is looking outside the raised beds in the back of the house. Okay, so this is bed number 1, going from the left to the right. So I got this bed completely planted. On the far ends is red romaine lettuce. You can see that right there. And then the rest of the bed is a mixture of cabbage. So different kinds of cabbage, and then you have some red romaine here, as you can see. So this bed is completely done and planted. Then we move over here to, oh, sorry, something tried to get in my ear. Then we move over here to bed number 2, and let me show you that. This bed is coming along. You can see that I've started to mulch everything. So on the left, you see is some salad bowl lettuce. This is my first time planting this lettuce, but I'm going to plant it again just because it's pretty. I love the mixture of the colors of the green and the red. That's Merlot lettuce. I planted that before. That was a favorite from last year. There's some romaine behind that. And then, of course, in the corner is that giant red mustard. And then on this side is broccoli and parsley. So that bed's done. This is the tomato bed that we're gonna finally get rid of. But y'all, I just picked a whole bunch of tomatoes. I probably picked a good 30 cherry tomatoes, and there's still plenty of tomatoes on the vine. But either today or by next weekend, I'm gonna take out the tomato bed. I'm gonna take it out. We're gonna be done. Over here, bed number 4. And so this one is planted. This is where I tried to start the carrots and the beets that didn't germinate very well. So I have put some kale in here to take up the space. That's just some curly kale. I have a few carrots growing right there, a few carrots growing right there, and then more curly kale. But we're going to do some experiments today in the high tunnel, and I'm going to show you and tell you what that is. And if the experiment goes well, then we'll fill in the rest of the bed with our experiment. And then this is the very last bed here to get ready, which is where the cucumbers were. So we've taken out the drip that was in there. I got to clean it out a little bit and start amending that bed. So this bed and this bed is going to be for garlic. So basically, and the garlic is not here yet, so we're still good. They haven't even sent the shipping notice. So we're good on the outside. 3 beds planted, and then we have this bed and this bed that we're going to reserve for garlic this year. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Next, I want to show you my newest addition. This is my very first house plant that I am buying for the sunroom. This is a Monstera. I'm so excited. I've been wanting a Monstera, and so we just repotted it this morning. I didn't video that, but we just repotted it this morning and put it in this pot, and this is what it's looking like. I love it. It's gonna go in the sunroom in there. So we're putting the final touches on the sunroom. All the painting is done. The furniture is in there. So it's starting to come together since the last time that you guys saw it. So now it's just getting plants, decorating, and finishing up the decorating and all that. The space is big, bigger than I anticipated with the furniture that I bought. So I have some space that I need to kind of take up, rearrange, and figure out how we're going to make it all kind of come together. So we're working on that. But that's the very first houseplant I bought, was the Monstera. I'm not big into houseplants, meaning I don't have a lot of knowledge around houseplants. I have a couple of houseplants in my house that you guys have probably seen in, in other videos. And those were plants given to me, one was from like my mom's funeral. And one might have been from my father-in-law's funeral, like peace lilies. And I have like a pothos. And that's really all I have. But I want to get into more houseplants, and I want to learn about houseplants. The Monstera I love. I love the fiddle leaf. Guys, I love just, pretty things. So I got the Monstera because I wanted a big plant in the sunroom, and I need a couple of other big plants that kind of go in the corners to kind of anchor it. But if you're a houseplant person, let me know. Give me some tips on Monstera, or give me any tips on any great houseplant varieties for a sunroom that's going to get, a good bit of indirect sunlight. So let's go to the high tunnel and we'll start on our projects down there. Hey guys, we're in the high tunnel now. And so here's my experiment. So let me tell you what I read versus what I'm going to do. So you guys know that I have talked about that my beets and my carrots didn't germinate very well in the back of the house. My carrots in the high tunnel did have done pretty well, but my beets, yeah, no. And I think it's because I just haven't watered enough. Do y'all feel that breeze? OMG! Love it. It feels so amazing. I can just keep saying that over and over. Focus. I've been saying that, but my beets and carrots didn't germinate. And so everything that I read says you want to direct sow your beets and carrots because they don't like to be transplanted. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to try it anyway, because what's the worst I have to lose is more seeds. And then one of my viewers left me a comment on a video last week and was essentially telling me the same thing, that I think she said either she had seen it done or she had done it herself, where she transplanted her beets, and then she gave me some tips on the carrots about putting the burlap over the cardboard, which I knew that, just hadn't done it. So today I'm going to plant me some beets, and then we're going to see if they grow, and then we're going to transplant them and see if they grow in the ground. That's what we're going to do. So I read you're not supposed to do it that way, but that's what I'm going to do anyway. And it just reminded me, and I want to also encourage you and remind you that yes, there are certain things in gardening that you should or should not do. But the only way you're going to know for yourself that it does or does not work is for you to do it. Case in point, they also say the same thing about squash, that you should not, the squash roots don't like to be disturbed, and you should direct sow it. Well, if y'all remember, I did, I started seeds for squash last year. I put them in the ground. They grew just fine. No issues whatsoever. I still had squash bugs from when I direct sowed. I had squash bugs when I transplanted. It doesn't matter. The thing is I got fruit. They grew. So there are some things that, yes, maybe you should or shouldn't do, but I'm kind of, I want to see for myself, right? If you say, hey, these two shouldn't go together, then if for some reason I accidentally do it, or I decide to try and do it anyway, that is my prerogative as a gardener, and it's also your prerogative as a gardener. So take risk, explore. What is the worst you have to lose but seeds? So today, we're going to plant some beets. That is what we're going to do. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in soil blocks. And you know what? Maybe I'll do some in soil blocks and some in regular pots. I was thinking soil blocks because, again, with the soil blocks, it's going from the soil block into the ground, so there's no transplant shock. And so I thought that would be a good way to do beets and carrots. Now, here's the dilemma I have today. I do not have any carrot seeds. I am completely out. I think I told y'all that when I planted some last week, and I picked up like a pack or two along the way at some store, but I haven't bought any enough in bulk, and I forgot to place my order. So I don't even have any carrot seeds. That's a no-no in gardening. You got to always have seeds for the stuff that you want to grow. So poor planning on my part, and I have to know that when you buy carrot seeds, I need to buy a lot because they're so small and you broadcast sow them. You don't. So if there's 250 seeds in a pack, obviously you're not planting each individual seed because they're too tiny, unless you're buying pelleted seeds. So I need to know to buy more carrot seeds in bigger quantities, because I do want to try. I want to have carrots for fresh eating, but I also want to try like some roasted carrots. I think that would be nice as a side dish, like for dinner and stuff. Carrot souffle is also good. That's high in calories, but I want to have some more carrots this year. I didn't grow a lot last year. We only had like some for fresh eating, and that was it. Nothing for storage. So I want to kind of just up that ante. But I don't have any carrot seeds, so I got to order some. But today I do have beets, so we're going to do the beets. Okay, we got the beets done. I only did 15. So if you saw, I only did I didn't fill up the whole tray with soil blocks. I only did 15 because I don't want that many beets. I don't really like beets. I'm growing the beets to dehydrate and make beet powder because my husband likes to put it in his smoothies. But I am going to try beets. I've heard that if you roast them like in the oven, that they taste different / better. So I am going to try it. But I haven't had beets since I was probably a little girl on a salad, and I just remember the red juice making my lettuce all purple, and it just had no taste. I haven't had beets since then. Maybe some shredded beets like in a salad or something that didn't really have a taste. So I haven't had them like cooked, and I'm like, how do people eat those? But people do. And so that's the part of gardening that you get a chance to try and explore and just verify and validate if you really like it. But if not, then we're going to make beet powder. That's what we're going to do with the beets. So I didn't make a whole lot in case I don't like them. And the dehydrating, we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to water these in, and we're going to see how they do. And then next, I'm going to try a different experiment that I'm going to take you on with me. We're going to do something called interplanting. And I'm going to plant some radish. I've never planted radish before. Again, I don't like radish, but I have heard that there are different kinds of radishes. I've heard that if you grill it, cook it, it takes on a different flavor note. And you got to get the right kind of radish. And the thing I don't like about radish is that like that bite, like that spicy. Like I don't like arugula. I don't like ginger. That spicy bite, I just don't like it. It's just not my favorite. But I have some radish. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I'll get it on the next frame. I'm gonna water this stuff in, and let me show you how my seedlings are doing. Germination was slow, and I think it's just because the temperature hasn't been as high, but we finally got germination. Usually I get germination like 3 days. This took like 6 days, so you can see all along in there I have pretty good germination. These are all the seeds that we started about a week ago. So we got 2 trays of that, and then a half a tray there. Okay, so this is the radish I'm going to plant. It's a watermelon radish. Y'all know I picked it because it was pretty, right? I was like, oh, that's pretty. I like that. And it's from So True Seeds. I don't even know where I picked this up, because I pick up seeds wherever I see them and wherever I go. But it says the radish is glamorous. It has a magenta heart that blends into white flesh with a lime green skin. And this one, it says large roots can be up to baseball size. So we're going to do something called interplanting. I've never done it before, but basically interplanting is what it sounds like. So you're going to plant in between something, and you usually want to do something. Again, from what I've read and research, you want to do something that maybe has a shorter seed to harvest period, besides something that has a longer, or something that's going to give it more shade. So for example, a lot of people sometimes may plant lettuce under tomatoes, like in the spring, something like that, because they know that they can like do the lettuce along the row of tomatoes, because they know the lettuce has a shorter seed to harvest time frame, and the tomatoes are going to grow tall, provide shade, and you can still kind of have both crops in the same general area. So I've seen people do that. I've also seen people plant radishes besides carrots and beets, because most radishes are like the quickest thing you can grow. I've always heard that, like, if you're a new gardener and you want to just see if you can grow something, radishes usually have a maturity of 25 to 30 days. Now, this particular variety, of course, I would get something that's not like this. I thought this was a 30-day variety, but it's actually a 60-day variety. So we're only gonna plant a couple. Let's just plant a couple. We're gonna experiment and see, and it doesn't matter because I don't think I like radish anyway, but we're gonna plant it. If it works, then I'm gonna taste it, and we're gonna taste it together and see if we like it. So I'm gonna plant it in the bed where I recently just had the sweet potatoes. You guys haven't seen that, but I flipped that bed, and in the bed I have broccoli, cabbage, and a couple of carrots, which is also an experiment. So we're gonna plant it along the row of the broccoli that I just planted, and the broccoli, I'm assuming, and the carrots will kind of grow together, but I'm assuming that this may be done first before the broccoli. I don't know. We're going to see. So let me turn you around. So you can see this bed here in the very back. That's broccoli. And the very center right there are some carrots that I thinned out from my other bed. So that's why I say it's an experiment. I did not plant those carrot seeds right there. Those are carrot seeds from another bed where I was thinning out my carrots. If you want to know about thinning out carrots, I have a whole video that I did on it. And I just put them in the ground to see if they would take root and grow right there. So that's an experiment as well. But we're going to plant our radishes right in here, and we're going to see what happens. Okay, so I interplanted. As you can see, I only did probably 25% of the row. One, because I don't want a whole lot of radishes if I don't like them. And I'm just experimenting, right? So this is a good way to experiment. And another thing that interplanting does, you can also use it to kind of help repel pests. So a lot of times people have interplanted onions and carrots because the things that the onions give off repel the things that hurt the carrots. So that's another method of interplanting, is to kind of repel pests and putting two plants together that's going to kind of repel each other's insects, if that makes sense. And like I said before, the interplanting comes in when you're planting a taller crop with a shorter crop. So carrots, are going to grow up below the ground, but tall, and can provide some shade with the carrot tops, just like the tomatoes provide shade for the lettuce. So I did like 25% of the row. Let's just see what happens. And again, another reason to interplant specifically those radishes. Radishes grow really, really fast. Again, the variety that I have is 60 day, but most radishes are 25 to 30 days. So you get radishes like you plant it in the next month, you have it within 30 days. So that's also something, if you're planting something quick like a radish, you know that you're going to get it in 30 days versus it's beside something that's going to take 60 to 70 days. So you can still get that crop, use the same amount of space, and not dedicate a whole bed for radishes or a whole space for radishes. So it's also a way for you to maximize your space, especially if you're limited on space. So that's our experiment. So we did some broccoli. We started we started some beet seeds that we're going to transplant and see if we can get beets that way, since the beets direct sown don't want to cooperate. And we interplanted some radish. We're trying radish to see if we like it, because what you tasted at 8 may not be what you like at 48, right? And so that's good. Again, I'm always going to advocate growing your own food and gardening, because there's so many pluses, there's so many benefits. And one of the benefits is you can try things that you may traditionally not like at a really inexpensive cost, a way of buying it in the grocery store. And it may taste different from you growing it in your own backyard, or you may find a different way to prepare it, like grilled, like they said, with the radishes, and then also like roasted beets. So we'll see. If you guys love beets and radishes, let me know. Put some suggestions down in the comment that you think will make me like it. That will make me like it. So that's it for today's video. We're gonna do some more stuff in the garden. I'm gonna water in here because it hadn't gotten water. It didn't get water yesterday. It feels so good. I'm gonna water, and then I'm gonna wait on hubby. We're gonna start jumping on the garden outside and getting rid of all of the summer stuff, cutting it down, clearing it out. And I'll just make that into another video so that I don't keep you too long. But thank you guys so much for going on this journey with me today. And I want to encourage you, experiment in your garden. What you got to lose? Some seeds. That's it. We're talking, $3.50 a pack, maybe. Experiment. Go against the odds. Be a rebel. and you can meter out how much you want to be a rebel. So with the radishes, I only plant 25%. So if I don't like it, it's not a big deal. If it doesn't work, not a big deal. And the only reason I'm thinking it may not work is because that variety is a 60-day variety. It gets baseball size, and my broccoli is already going, right? So we'll see. And then with the beets, the only thing that can happen is it doesn't germinate, but it's going to germinate. And then if I put it in the ground, if it doesn't grow because it's transplant shock, no worries. We'll try again. But thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like what you're seeing, please subscribe to my channel. Please tell a friend. Encourage somebody to grow their own food. Remember, this is a journey. Let's grow together. I'll see you next time, friend.